This is Gorillaz, a virtual band formed in '98 by the musician Damon Albarn and the artist Jamie Hewlett. The music of Gorillaz are stories presented through their songs, and until now that I'm recording this video are 7 faces. But let's start from the beginning. We start with Mordog.
The bath! Hey you guys, I'm just gonna take a bath.
He went on a very abusive childhood. Mordog dreamed about becoming a famous musician and living Stockholm-Trent. After becoming a Satanist, he began making deals with the devil and came to an argument with him. If Mordog was to become a famous rock star, he would offer Satan his soul. On the 5th of August 1997, Morton and a gang of criminals went on a crime spree in a stolen Vauxhall Astra. Their next target was Uncle's Norm, organ employee where Stuart Pott or else 2D was working. His real name is Stuart Pott. He was born on May 23, 78 to David and Rachel Pott. He was known as a kind person and he had general love of music. His parents recall a little 10-year-old Stuart Pott poaching around in his room, listening to the class of August Pablo, the Human League. One day, he hit his head when falling from a tree at the age of 11, causing all of his hair to fall out. But when the hair came back in, it was a deep azure blue. Don't do that, kids. That's not happening for real. Watch out. When he was 19, a car was crashed in his face. 2D got something called hypemia, that. All thought he could still see through his injured eye. Mordog was arrested, as well to carry the incapacitated Stuart for 10 hours every week. One day, Mordog wanted to impress some woman. He crashed again. He sent Stuart crashing through his windscreen, hitting his head on the crab and fracturing his other eye. When 2D wakes up and looks at Mordog, Mordog described him as a blue-haired black-eyed god, and he created the band with Stuart. Stuart changed his name as 2D. He served as a Gorillaz lead vocalist. Noodle was born in Osaka, Kansai, Japan. She spent a portion of her childhood in Japan as a subject of a classified Japanese super soldier project, under the management of the Japanese scientist Mr. Kuzio. Noodle and 22 other children were trained for the sole purpose of fighting as a soldier for the Japanese military and government.
The other kids didn't survive.
Noodle arrived at the doorstep of Kong Studios in the '98 in a FedEx Create. Noodle was spinning out of the box and performed a guitar solo, so the Gorillaz found their lead guitarist.
I have an appreciation for fine clothes.
Yeah.
Petticoats and such. Maybe some diamante shoes. Like Dorothy from Wizard of...
Russell was born in Brooklyn, New York. He's known for his good manners and eloquent speech. One rainy night, outside a 7-Eleven, Russell's friends were killed in a drive-by shooting by a gang of gangbangers. After the shooting, Russell's friends were all taking possession in his body. The most permanent being who was talking to Russell, and we can see actually in a video clip, was his best friend, Del the Ghost Rapper. The process of the possession turned Russell's eyes in a milky white. He got a job working behind the counter at a Big Rick's Black record shack in London, Soho area. That's when he first encountered Morton Nicholas. While asking Russell for an obscure 50s record, Mordog slapped a bag over Russell's head and forced him out of the shop. Russell was taken back at the Kong Studios and was impressed with the music that Mordog was working on, so he chose to stay. First of all, they changed their name from Gorillaz to Gorillaz. Their first song that recorded in Kong Studios was The Ghost Train. They released their first collection of music with a Tomorrow Comes Today. Full-length debut album was released on March 26, 2001 with the song 19200, Clint Eastwood, Tomorrow Comes Today and Rock the House. So, as every band, they go in a world tour for 11 months. After that, they got a 6-month break in LA. In that time, Gorillaz began to work on their movie, Celebrity Harvest. Kong Studios was shut down by the police. They kept the area secure. They wanted to investigate the paranormal activity of Kong Studios. In that time, Gorillaz spent their time working on their movie. But the movie came to an end and it never came to be because of disagreements and not finding a way with the directors. When Murdoch almost killed 2D, the band was split for a year and a half. After attempting to kill 2D and leaving Gorillaz, Murdoch headed off to Mexico to get some sun and relax. However, after using a fake duck sequence at a brothel, Murdoch was arrested and sentenced to 30 years at La Mesa State Prison. During this time, Murdoch met some cellmates who taught him a bit of black magic and acquired himself a pet raven named Cortez. After Murdoch left, the next one to leave was Noodle. Noodle went back to Japan in an attempt to uncover the secrets of her own past after suffering from nightmares and visions on the Gorillaz Tour Phase 1. Noodle left for Japan on October 1st, 2002. She was into a capsule hotel and began her search. Russell stayed in LA, but the Grim Reaper was always hunting him and he killed the soul of Dell from his body. And now Russell is free from his possession. But his clone white eyes are still there as a permanent effect. Oh yeah, also I want to mention, Noodle, she visited a sushi bar in Osaka, where she heard a waiter tell to the chef that he needed an order of frozen bacon. When Noodle heard this phrase, all of her memories of the past came back to her knowledge, and now she can speak English. After that, Noodle returned to Kong Studios. The studio was a shithole, since the band wasn't there for a year and a half. The studio had zombies. Noodle slowly cleaned Kong Studios. At that time, she recorded her own album, Demon Days. After she was done cleaning Kong Studios, she reunited with the band members. Oh yes, also, when the Phase 2 was going to end, Noodle was going to take a break with her last video, El Mañana. But out of nowhere, 2 helicopters appeared and she died. Yep, RIP Noodle. You'll be missed. 2D and Russell were very sad and they were going to search for her if she was alive. The only one who wasn't sad, surprised about this, was Murdoch. I won't tell you more. I want you to read by yourself. I mean, this is a brief history after all, and I don't have any more breath left. Everyone has been split out once again, and Murdoch all this time spent all of his money in a travel. He got the money burning Kong Studios, and he got the insecure money. The Black Clouds, their pirates, are after to kill Murdoch because some business failed deal. So he was searching the whole world for a new lair or hideout, and he discovered a weird island that was made by landfills stuck together in the middle of nowhere. So he painted the island pink. And since he had some money left, he built the new Gorillaz, let's say new home like Kong Studios. Murdoch named the island Plastic Beach. He brought all the belongings of the band members to the beach, and he was starting working on the 5th album. 2D was on a vacation in the Jamaican beach. He was gassed and they brought him to the Plastic Beach in a suitcase. He thought Murdoch was the one who took him there, but no, it was a new villain of the Gorillaz. This new enemy wears a gas mask and is basically all evil, the Boogeyman. We see him a lot in Phase 3, but it appears that he works with Murdoch. Noodle, in the other way, is still dead or missing in that matter. Murdoch searched the El Mañana for her remains, but he only found some DNA of Noodle. In that DNA that he found, he built Cyborg Noodle to replace Noodle as the guitarist, and also is his bodyguard. Russell, in the other way, was nowhere to be found. he searched for him, but nothing. So we only have Mortog, 2D, and Cyborg Noodle in the plastic beach. In one video clip of Gorillaz, we see Russell to go in the Pacific Ocean, to go to the plastic beach. In the style of video, we see the band already have gone some trauma. 2D is like fuck my life. Cyborg Noodle has a bullet hole in her head. On the video, Melancholy Hill, we see a woman wearing a cat mask. It's Noodle, 4 years after we thought she was dead. She's on a ship that is attacked by 2 planes. You all think that they might be the Black Clouds. Noodle fights back. She takes one out actually. That's my girl. The ship sinks and Noodle makes it out alive in a lifeboat with some supplies and her guitar. A giant version of Russell fights Noodle and he helps her to go to the plastic beach. Now you will say how Russell got so big and hot. No, I'm joking. He got so big due to pollution and trash in the water and toxic waste. And almost in the end of the plastic beach era, Cyborg Noodle opens fire to the boogeyman. The boogeyman wanted Mortog's soul, so the battle begins. Nearly the end, Russell opened his mouth and revealing the real Noodle, with a facial scar on her face, from the video El Mañana. Each member had a book to fill a scene what happened after the plastic beach. Mortog escaped in a rusty submarine, with Cyborg Noodle. 2D, during the battle of Plastic Beach, he was hid in his underwater room, without realizing that he put himself in a big danger of the foe must dig a great well that swallowed 2D. The well, after some time, he died and was set up on a desert where 2D was free, but he hasn't any survival skills. He was eating the well to survive. After some months, 2D saw a plane crossing by. 2D wasn't lost at all actually. He was landed in Guadalure off the Mexican coast. Russell and Noodle also escaped. They got in a trouble in the coast of Japan when Russell was mistaken by a whale and harpooned giant Russell was taken by the North Korean leaders. As exhibition, Russell, because of the country's biggest attraction, but after I think some food, he shrink back to normal size. He was sent free. Noodle, she woke up in a Japanese fishing village. She was recovered by an old pearl diver and she took a job as his apprentice to say thank you for helping her. After the band got together, they released the Humanz. We see them as a story containing the Satan's bars with a bath meme and many creepy things. In the Stormlight video, we see Mortog taking a cart. The guy was El Mierda, who framed Mortog for smuggling and Mortog got to the jail.
Mortog being on jail, the band wanted a new replacement because why not? Mortog replaced Noodle and Russell. They added Ice from Powerpuff Girls. Yep, that's a thing.
They recorded their album The Now Now. Damon Albarn said it's all about 2D. Jack Black was also in the Humility video. And we saw 2D with white eyes and not black anymore. He's feeling different, happy, because Mortog isn't there. Happy boy, until Russell kicked him and his eyes gone black again. We began the Free Mortog campaign. We actually tried to free Mortog via Facebook. In the face of a global pandemic, the band practices social distancing in a various ways of Kong Studios. Mortog locked himself in the Kong's basement, explaining how he was working on something big that would change this fucking world. After a look through his online purchase history, this something big appears to have involved nearly $500 worth of pinewood and a blow-up doll. I read that correctly, yeah. Meanwhile, Russell caught up on a television while experimenting with an assorted variety of foods entertainment combination. In the music video for The Lost Sword, the band found themselves back at the plastic beach, 10 years after the Black Clouds attacked the island. Past trauma resurfaced as they explored the remains of the island. Mortog is seen overcome with guilt at the sight of a damaged and deactivated Cyborg Noodle. Soon after, a sea monster awoke from the depths of the ocean and began to destroy the island once and for all. The deactivated Cyborg Noodle is seen open her eyes as she lifelessly sinks into the bottom of the ocean.
A portal back to the Kong studio suddenly opens up as the ruins of the Island sinks into the ocean. 2D, Noodle and Russell escape it as the portal closed, leaving Mortok stranded in the ocean. In the spirit of friendship and forgiveness, 2D quickly reopens the portal and reaches out, saving Mortok's life. The band announced that they had begun recording their next album in Silver Lake. During this time, Mortok became increasingly interested in the occult and eventually founded a cult focusing on the supernatural, dubbed The Last Cult. The rest of the band weren't too keen but didn't think much of it. 2D was given the role of the chosen one and started a podcast as a way to journal the first days of The Last Cult. I wanna end this video here. I don't wanna say much. If you wanna see more, please visit their channel Gorillaz and their website gorillaz.com.